What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Alex here from Team Generations, and today we're here to take a look at one of the most underloved clans in the game right now. We're going to actually be looking at Neo Nectar. More specifically, we're going to be talking about Grajiorl Dragon. So obviously this came out during the last clan collection, which is actually a really stellar kind of set. Really shook up the meta a lot. And I think that, like I said, Neo Nectar is an underloved clan, but this support is actually pretty good. There's actually a lot of synergy throughout the ride line here. And this can pair up with something a little bit more unique. I know a lot of people put Arbros in here, but spoiler alert, this is not an Arbros deck. So if you are looking to play on a budget, there's no VRs in here. Very cheap overall. I think this whole deck can really be had for around that $35 price range. I want to say probably around there. So very competitive for that price range, and this might not be at the table one necessarily at your BCS, but overall I think with the right pilot you can go very far with this deck. If you're a new player, you want to pick something up, this is a great example. Teach you some core mechanics of the game to kind of get you started. And if you're an advanced player too, pick this up and you can definitely go for the more intricate plays this deck allows you to. So I think with a little bit of practice this deck can definitely shine. So without further ado, let's hop into the deck profile and I'll show you guys what I'm running. All right, before we begin, I just wanted to quickly mention that if you are interested in purchasing any of the cards you see here today, we have a TCG player link down in the description below. Absolutely no cost to you. Could help support the channel. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you so much in advance. And if you are enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like on the video, possibly consider subscribing to the channel. So with all that out of the way, let's hop right into the deck profile. Starting us off, obviously the boss monster itself. This is Return of Eternity, Grajiorl Dragon. So Grajiorl Dragon has just been released over here. So I've actually tested this deck quite a bit, and this is definitely the build. Outside of budget reasons, this is definitely the build I just want to run in general. I have access to the Arbros cards, it's not a problem for me. But personally, I just like this build more. I feel like it's a little bit more aggressive, has a little bit more kill potential, and you can, like I kind of mentioned before, pivot two different ways with it. So let's explain the skills over here. Continues on Vanguard Circle, or your plant tokens you call as grade 0. They're basically called as 10k with 10k shield and a crit instead of the 5k normal ones that plant tokens usually are called as. And they actually have boost and intercept, and your plant tokens can intercept from the back row. So right off the bat, a little bit more powerful as well as being a little bit more tanky overall. Very nice kind of combo with this over here, making this force numbers plus that little bit of defensive capability that you have right there is very nice. I think act on Vanguard Circle. Its second skill, once per turn, choose a normal card from your drop, put it into the bottom of your deck, call up the 2 plant tokens to Rearguard Circle. So that's super free. You're literally just recycling a unit and then you're getting 2 10k beat sticks. That's super free. That actually makes this card really plus in my opinion. And then it's kind of enables something else, this third skill over here. Auto on Vanguard Circle. When this unit attacks, counterblast 1, draw a card, choose up to 2 cards from your hand, call them to Rearguard Circles with plant tokens. So of course, if you have those in the front row, you can then, boom, call right over. You get certain effects based on cards you call over, and on top of that, obviously there's a multi-attack, so it's 1, 2 on your side columns you attack with your Vanguard, and then 3, that's 3, and then 4, 5 again when you swing again. And the 4, 5s are really going to be buffed up, and your original ones can be buffed up too. I'm going to show you what we're running to kind of do that, but overall, very simple Vanguard to kind of understand, which again makes it great for a beginner if you're looking to pick up a good deck that is pretty budget. So multi-attack, nice balanced numbers over there with force, as well as some bulk out protection and recyclability. So next up over here, another green unit, we are looking at Deep Green Lord Master Wisteria. So this came out a couple clan collections back, and really I think this is a decent card. This really is the unit I want to synergize with in this deck. I think that this is the guy that really will kind of put this one over the edge and make it a little bit more competitive than Arbros in my personal opinion. Auto when this unit is placed on Van or Rearguard Circle, CB1, discard a card from your hand, call up to 2 plant tokens to Rearguard Circle, then choose one of your other units, search your deck for up to 1 card with the same name, and then reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck. So let's think about this for a second. If there's a specific unit on board that you call down, maybe it's the grade 2, maybe grade 3, another grade 3, whatever, that you're actually calling down from hand off of the Grajiorl Dragon skill. You can go search that out, or you can just go search out your ride target. Boom, every single turn, just growing, kind of that whole plant concept, no pun intended with Neo Nectar, but you're kind of just growing this force markers turn after turn, and this is the way to guarantee that, which is really nice. You could also just search for himself too if you want to continue this play next turn, but the discard from hand kind of hurts, but we are running some cards to kind of deal with that, and I'll show you a little bit later. Auto on Van or Rearguard Circle, its second skill, when this unit attacks, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your units, and all your units with the same card name gets an additional 5k until the end of turn. This guy's on Van gets 10k instead of 5k, so not the worst Vanguard target if you have to ride it, but that really shouldn't be a problem in this deck. The searchability is just immense, so I don't think you're going to misride too much. But if you need to, Soul Blasting 1, we're basically going to choose the plant token name, give them an additional 5k, so instead of 10k boosters that you might have just spawned with him, you basically got 15k boosters, which again, it makes it a little bit nicer numbers overall when you're swinging, especially if this guy is on a force marker. Let's count that out. So we're going to call him down, boom, 13k turns to 23k, plus the 15k right there makes a 38k column. it just makes it really nice. And there's other things that buff plant tokens on top of that, and other units kind of just buff themselves for free. So we're just giving ourselves an extra layer of kind of defense for next turn, because again, our plant tokens can intercept due to our Vanguard, and then, you know, just buffing up our attack even more. So kind of a double-edged sword right there, which is really great for us. Moving right along, I am actually choosing to run one of this. I know this is kind of weird. This is a common, came out quite a bit ago, I think in the Asha set, but I actually really like this. It feels really good to go into her. I might actually up her and cut one of the Mysterias down. I'm not 100% sure right now, but auto on I'm sorry, this is Maiden of Iceberg. Super easy to remember. Auto on Vanna Rearguard Circle when placed. We CB1, Soul Blast 1, call up to 2 plant tokens to Rearguard Circle. This guy gets an additional 5k until the end of turn for each of your plant tokens. So if you can, you know, spam an additional 4 tokens there. That's an extra 20k on top of this. You know, let's say you were stacking one force column, you know, you have 2 markers on there, let's say. So boom, you know, 1 or 2, it's 23, 33 on top of another 20k you just got from having 4 other plant tokens, which is pretty easy in this deck. You don't have to call 2 down. You can call just 1 if you want to have the stacked attack. And then boom, you got, you know, 53k column swinging at you, 63k. Super easy to kind of have that happen. So I've kind of sealed games with her. I feel like it's really nice. And, you know, it definitely has a cost, but it's not unmanageable in this deck. Next up over here, kind of everybody else in the deck is a little bit more of a freebie, especially in the grade 2 kind of lineup over here, but running the in-theme support, this is such a great card. This is Eternal Stability, Grajiorl Dragon. So this grade 2, when placed on Vanguard Circle auto, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 return of entity, basically the grade 3, from among them, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. If you did not reveal, call up to 1 plant token, that's another 10k, you know, 10k guard, 10k power, and then has boost and intercept. It doesn't get intercept from the back row as of yet, but that's fine. Just getting that extra 1 for free. If your hand is already stacked with them, like, you know, you want to leave them in and just get a little more early aggression, you can choose not to reveal any and just call that plant token. So having that option is pretty nice. And then its second skill, when this unit is placed on Rearguard Circle with the plant token that has 10k or greater from your hand, you know, basically activating your Vanguard's third ability, this guy gets an additional 15k until the end of turn. So boom, pop that down, you just got an extra 15k, 25k base on top of a force marker. That's another, you know, what is that, 35 right there, boosted by a 10k, potentially 15k kind of token in the back row. That's another, you know, either 45 or 50k. So you see that there are quality attacks throughout this deck. Like, you know, you're not just swinging wet noodle numbers, kind of like a lot of other Excel decks. These are like meaningful attacks, I feel like, throughout, and just the ability to kind of go and search your ride target out. Top 7 is really deep in this deck, and spoiler alert, there is a grade 1 that pretty much does the same exact thing in terms of the top 7. It just makes it so nice. So the support is pretty good in my opinion, and doesn't feel bad at all. Next up over here, another card that was printed during one of the clan collections. Again, I feel like this whole deck is, like I said, super cheap. It's pretty much a clan collection almost core. This guy over here is Maiden of Full Vine, maybe I should say girl. Auto on Rearguard Circle when placed from hand on a Rearguard Circle with the plant token. Draw a card. This guy gets an extra 5k until the end of turn. So this is great. If you go for like a double play on this, you know, you have your 2 in the front, you're just trying to farm up, survive a little bit later into the game, just pop this down. You draw one off of your Vanguard's ability. You draw another 2 off of this, so you're really going, I believe that is +1 overall, which is still decent, especially if you're trying to just like survive. Like I said, you're not trying to blow your opponent away. Maybe, you know, you're just going for a farm turn. This is your ability to actually farm. This is the unit to do it. So I do like this. It's costless. It gains you more resources, helps you draw. And again, discarding it in this deck, you know, it is a thing with the what is it, Wisteria guy, so that definitely helps kind of mitigate that a little bit. Lastly, over here for the grade 2s, actually not last up, we have one more spicy tech after, but I'm running 3 Pansy Musketeer Sylvia. Just so easy, so simple, been around forever, been a staple. This has been reprinted, I think, a couple times now too. So auto when this guy is placed on Van or Rearguard Circle, you may call a plant token to Rearguard Circle, and so easy. Obviously, your plant token, if you're on the grade 3, is going to be that 10k, and then again, we've already talked about how we buff up our tokens, so we could do that as well. Just having something come down and then boom, insulating us for later into the turn with the intercept from the back row and boosting us for an extra 10k, you know, still making a 30k column base if, you know, even if the token's not boosted or powered up in the back row, it's still pretty nice overall. So something costless, something free, helps with early aggression. You know, you could really get the ball rolling early in this deck. You can, you know, get the power up a little bit later too. It's completely up to you, and you don't feel like you're kind of wasting it either, because again, unless you have mass retire from your opponent, those 10k interceptors can intercept from the back, so by the time we get to grade 3. So I like that at a 3 of, and I'm trying out one of this. You can honestly bump up the Sylvia to 4 if you want, but this feels really good too. And when you attack, I'm sorry, Maiden of Bot Fist. So again, I don't even know what set this came out in. Auto on rearguard circle, when it attacks, if you have 5 or more units, this unit gets an additional 10k until the end of battle. So again, super simple. Call down from hand off of the skill. You have another 5 units, that's fine. You know, gets an additional 10k again on a force marker. That could be 30k boosted by a 15k kind of plant token. You know, it's a free 10k essentially. And I know it's not as big as the regular grade 2, but you know, in a pinch, we're trying to make nice numbers late game. This can come up, so I like this at the 1 of. I think it's an interesting tech at least. Lastly, over here, oh no, that's actually it for the grade 2s. Over here, we're going to get into the grade 1s, and again, no surprise here, keeping it at a 4 of with the in-theme support. Budding Permanence, I think it's to say, yeah, Permanence, Grajiorl Dragon. Auto when this guy is placed on Vanguard Circle, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 Eternal Stability Grajiorl Dragon from among them, reveal it, put it into your hand. That's the grade 2, I believe, right? Let me just double check that really quickly. I always forget. Yeah, that's the grade 2. So the grade 1 searches the grade 2, which searches the grade 3. Very, very consistent deck overall, meaning we don't have to run as many grade 3 searchers in general. But this guy is also giving us the ability, if we did not find one of them, we basically go and call a plant token down, which again, if you have everything in your hand, you just want to start aggressing early, call those 10ks down. Start doing that, start attacking, poking at your opponent. That's completely fine. Its second skill, auto when this is placed on rearguard circle with a plant token that has 10k or greater power, we get to draw a card. This guy gets an additional 5k until the end of turn, so 13k body, at least threatening an on hit for a force deck you might be facing, and then just getting us that draw. It really just helps farm, and the idea of this deck is to grow. Just over time, you're going to whittle down your opponent. It doesn't have necessarily like a huge kill play outside of some of the grade 3s, and your timing has to be correct, but the idea is that you're just farming and surviving a little bit later into the game than a lot of other decks maybe can pull off. So I definitely like it. 4 of over here, very good support in my opinion. Next up over here, we're going to be looking at then Fruit Basket's Elf. So really decent card overall. Again, a little bit later into the game can help us a little bit more, but let's just go over it. Act on rearguard circle, Soul Blast 1, retire this unit, and call it the 2 plant tokens to rearguard circle. And if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, those plant tokens get an additional 5k until the end of turn, which is, you know, nice later into the game. You know, pop this one thing down, all of a sudden you have like a nice 20k column, potentially 30k if you're on like a force marker, even more, you know the deal. 8k body, which is still good over here. Just simple, easy, spams tokens. It is what it is. Next up over here too, we do go through resources, and this kind of helps us with that a little bit. When placed on, I'm sorry, this is Maiden of Sweetberry. Auto when this unit is placed on Vanguard rearguard circle, call up to 1 plant token to rearguard circle, and if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, we soul charge 1, which is great. And then second skill continues during your turn. If your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets an additional 5k. So it's nice to boost your Vanguard with, you know, have it in the back row if you really want to. The extra 5k body can be good, just completely up to you. You can boost the token in the front row, no big deal. Call something over it later, you know, don't really care at that point because you are insulating yourself and making, you know, the guard in the back row. So 2 of these feels decent to soul charge. 2 of the grade 3 searchers, again, we have the in-theme kind of searchers, and I really, misriding is not a thing in this deck. It's just feels so nice overall, so I don't think we need to run 4 of these, but in general, the second skill, the continuous van on rearguard circle. During your turn, if you have 2 or more plant token units, this guy gets an additional 5k. Super easy kind of to hit in this deck, even early on into the game. And lastly, over here, our last card in the main deck, I'm actually trying 2 of these, and these feel actually pretty good at certain points. So this is Maiden of Dream Shower. So auto on rearguard circle when placed, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater. CB1, all your token units on rearguard circle get an additional 10k until the end of turn. For 1 CB, just making sure that like your initial wave of attacks are a little bit stronger. Like it definitely, it feels great. Like an extra 10k. This is a 7k body, which sucks, but outside of that, like it does really feel decent. Just makes your numbers a little bit more meaningful early in the game. And just remember, if you're newer too, you might not realize this, but all of your token units on rearguard circle, so that means the ones that it sees right then and there. It's not like a continuous permanent kind of 10k to anything spawned out that turn. So just make sure your timing with that is correct. But overall, it feels actually really nice. And I know this deck's a little resource intensive, but overall, not too bad. That definitely feels worth it at times. And then lastly, we are running a starter. You can run any V starter you want, doesn't really matter. Just got the Broccolini Musketeer Kira over here, and then boom, let's pan out and get into the triggers. All right, kicking us right off, I'm running, of course, 4 heals, and I just feel like, you know, we need to, let me zoom this in a little bit over here. There we go. I feel like we just need to kind of run 4 of the grade 3 heal guardians. They were reprinted again. These in general just really cheap. Nothing really to say more about that, honestly. Just making sure that you can mitigate early damage, make sure that you can survive later into the game is really great. This is a deck that does want to survive into the late game, and with that in mind, I am going to show you, I'm running 6 draw over here, so 4 of these Sentinels, the perfect guards, the draw PGs right there, as well as just 2 regular draws, 5k shields. We need to discard for Wisteria, and Wisteria is like pretty much our main play in the deck, and this really helps us with that. I know we're trying to farm, like I said, survive a little bit later into the game. I feel like at this point, we have the potential to do it. We just need that little extra oomph to kind of get to that point, especially against things like Steam Maidens or whatnot. You know, it doesn't feel bad to discard like a 5k shield, especially if they Colossus us or whatever. 6 crits over here, don't really need anything else. Can't really run anything else in V anyway. But overall, I'm happy with this. You can maybe up 1 more crit, down 1 of the draws if you really want to. But overall, I really feel like you need to run these over here. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any comments, let me know down below. I don't really have time necessarily these days. I'm so sorry. This is super busy with work and whatnot. So I'm really trying to crunch these videos on a small window of time. But I normally do test hands. But thank you guys so much for watching. It's definitely a more budget focused kind of deck, but at the same time, like, my idea wasn't to make it budget, it was just these are the cards I like and it just happened to be budget. So those are the best kind of budget decks overall. Thank you guys again. This is Alex from Team Generations signing out.